And so we are live on Facebook right now. And I'm going to share the broadcast to your page.
Oh, babe. Yeah, I know what you got to do. You got to get the cord so my phone don't cut off. There, go in the bag right there.
And welcome to our Facebook viewers. Just give us a couple of minutes to start the show. Thank y'all for tuning in again. Have a very special day. Facebook viewers. Just give us a couple of minutes to start the show. Thank y'all for tuning in again. Have a very special day. Yeah, if y'all can mute the volume on that side, because I got an echo over here.
Is that feedback from me?
Yeah.
So I should go mute, take it all the way down?
Okay, I don't hear it anymore.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and mute the mics and go ahead and start this show. So you'll hear us keying in a minute.
See, I can't hardly hear you.
Did you turn your volume down?
Yeah, I turned my volume down.
Turn your volume up.
No, he told me to turn it down. You want to go get my hearing aid? Oh, don't worry about it. You okay? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but if you can't hear, I don't care what your attitude.
Jesus.
BISLP 1069, Winterville, Ayden, Grifton, Southside, Greenville, North Carolina.
I try to be a better man, but folks just don't understand. Try to do all I can to deal with this addiction in me. Lord, I wanna change. I can't stay the same, but the sins that in my vein is trying its best just to kill me.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the U-Turn Show here on WBIX 106.9 FM. Glad to have you today. Once again, for the U-Turn Show, I'm your host, Richard Taylor. I have a special guest, Rodney Grimes, from People to People, founder of the People to People's podcast. So we're going to get into that in a minute. But also make sure you go to our website, www.wbisawesomeradio.org. Make sure to download our apps on Alexa, and also on the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. And also, this is an interactive show, so feel free to call in 252-756-2008. Once again, let me introduce my guest, Mr. Rodney Grimes. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. How you doing today, sir?
I am doing wonderful. This is probably different from you. Normally, you on the other end. You're on the interviewing end. So it's definitely a pleasure. You're no stranger to this format. So just definitely want to get right into the interview. You are the founder of People to People podcast, and you are located in Virginia, correct?
Yes, in Tyson Corner, Virginia.
Tyson's Corner, okay. And give the people a little bit of an overview about what and who People to People is, and what is the overall objective of the podcast and the company.
Pretty much we started out, it used to be Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. Pretty much everything I do, I put God first. So I pray over it. God would tell me what he wanted me to do, and I'll be obedient. When I was doing the Real Talk Live, my slogan is people to people, power to power, positive thinking people, PTP. So you'll see many times I will write PTP for life because that's what it stands for, is people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. Once I decided to relocate from the area which I started the podcast, I realized that it's not really about real talk per se, just gossip or whatever the case may be, but it's about the people. And I got that just through prayer, through God just talking to me and leading me and having me to do the things that he wants me to do. And this is about the people. So that's what the podcast is. It's an opportunity for people who are networking, trying to share their story, trying to get exposure, to be able to do it without any conflict, without any drama, and have an opportunity to network with everyone that's out there that's in need of that support and information.
Okay. And I have, of course, been in tune to the podcast on several occasions, and you have some of everyone from all walks of life. I'm talking about doctors, authors, musicians, fashion consultants, life coaches. I mean, the list goes on and on. So how is it that you are able to communicate it and get so many people? Where did you make those connections? Are they just from overall life experiences, or just reaching out through the different avenues that you?
It's almost like going to the grocery store or going to the doctor's office or going to church or to the library. You are in the presence of other people, and if you are a people person, then you have a tendency to communicate with them and find out that y'all may be on the same journey or have the same story or have the same intentions. And when I meet an individual who I see who has a positive attitude toward life, I definitely take the opportunity to introduce myself and then invite them to become a part of the program.
Okay. And before you started this, let's go back, because I always like to dig into my guest history. You were born in what, Alexandria?
Yes, born and raised in Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh, okay. And how was your life coming up?
Well, to be honest with you, I have a book that I'm working on called 504 Payne Street. I grew up on a street where it was a village raising all the children.
Okay.
But inside of my household, it was a whole different story where it was a lot of drama, a lot of mental and physical abuse, not sexual, but a lot of mental and physical abuse was going on. And it was more so, from my father, who was a Korean War veteran or a Vietnam veteran. He had some issues and had a drinking problem.
Okay. And
long story short, though, but that wasn't what really defined me today. I also had a mother who was a hardworking woman, and she believed in putting God first in everything, and along with my grandparents as well. And then definitely my siblings, my brother and my sisters. Coming up, it was, we had that at one time, it was a real powerful surface of protection of each other.
Okay. And you went on yourself to go into the military, right?
Yes, it was. My choice was either go to the penitentiary or go to the military. And the reason why I say that is because coming up in the 60s and 70s, 80s, it wasn't a lot of exposed to us. People weren't talking about college like they do now. We didn't have a lot of opportunities. So a lot of times, a young black male like myself, we were out there sometimes having to take things that we wanted because it wasn't provided to us. Mm-hmm. And so I used to run with some of the notorious young guys in the Old Town Alexandria area who I still show much love and respect to those that are still living and those that are dead. But yes, just coming up, it was a little rough. So some of the things that in my book is going to reveal that I had the experience dealing with abuse, drugs, uh, love, confusion, and the military. But the military was one of the best things I had ever did in my life, going into the United States Marine Corps.
Okay. How long did you serve?
Actually, I only served 6 years. Six
Only.
years. I a lot of times, I get this thing where people ask me, and I'll be wanting to tell them something else, but this is real, right? I did
Yeah.
6 years in the United States Marine Corps. I would have stayed in longer, due to some personal situations and so forth and so on. I got out, which I regret to this day. But once a Marine, always a Marine.
Semper Fi, right?
Simplify.
Simplify.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a couple of Marines greet each other today, so I know that's a strong bond that y'all have.
Oh yes.
And they actually say that's one of the toughest branches to go to.
Well, they say that, but let me tell you something. I'm keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in situations where I was actually exposed to all the other branches, everybody do their part. Air Force, Navy, the Army, the Marines. We the devil dogs. They always say we the first to go in. We're the first to go in on land. But let me tell you something. All the other armed forces, man, they do their part. So I'm not going to sit here and try to make like, we the sole protectors of the United States. I mean, we carry our own. Don't get it messed up. But I take my hat off to all the armed forces that we have.
And that's one thing I like about, like, even right now, you're still giving credit to others. Most people, would say, yeah, the Marines are the best, or, Army forever or whatever. But you sit here and just gave credit to everybody. You always give honor, above yourself. So where does that come from? Because I know she do that a lot. You never like to take the credit, for whatever you're always thinking about. Once again, the people. Where does that attitude come from? Where you're always, trying to uplift others, or, trying to give others, that accolades or that foot forward.
Well, several things that really put me in that frame of mind, and one of it is and will always be my grandparents. My grandmother, Miss Louise Shepherd, and my grandfather, Mr. John Shepherd. Two very, very powerful figures in my life. My grandmother was a woman who always was helping somebody, always doing something to help somebody, feed somebody. She was a God-loving woman. I don't like to say fearing, because I don't fear God. I love God. I respect God.
Like that.
You don't fear those that love you. You respect them. So I hate using that terminology.
I like
but
that.
We was brought up with that, and that's what my grandmother did. And my grandfather was probably one of the strongest black men that I knew. When I say that he fell for not anything and stood for everything. Now, meaning he stood for everything that made him the man that he was. He retired 3 times. I even remember him having his own little trucking business where he was hauling stuff around, but he was just that type of man that stood his ground. And my grandmother was the lady who was passionate about helping people, and she installed that in me at a very, very young age. When I was 10 years old, I remember my grandmother telling me that I would be the one. And I didn't know what she meant when she said that, but I now know now. But she said that you will be the one that's going to make a difference. And that's not to put me on a pedestal. That's just that I am be the one that God's going to use to be a platform for people to be able to move forward.
Okay. And starting the platform, were there any obstacles that you encountered, whether it was the location, or getting people to see what you seeing, or see your vision, starting the podcast, or did everything go smoothly?
No, actually, I started the podcast not thinking I was starting a podcast. Actually, I am a talker. I love to talk. I
Mhm.
love to help people. I could be riding down the highway and see somebody with a flat tire, and if everybody is riding by them, I'll be one of the guys to pull over and give them a hand. Well, I started out with the podcast just talking on my phone, talking about depression, anxiety, suicide, these type things that I knew about because I anticipated it, participated in it, or have to deal with it. And when I started out, I had about 25, 30 people that just started listening. And I was like, oh man, this is cool. So I did it a couple of days and kept on doing it. And then I was on coming on 5 days a week. And I noticed that the viewership was picking up. Um, During this process, I ran into a couple of people who were actually dealing with depression and a couple of them who was contemplating suicide. And when I talked to them, I told them, I said, well, why don't we just you tune in because I'm gonna go on at this certain time and just let's talk. I'm gonna talk about some things, and that's what I started to come up Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, and so it just started to escalate, and it started right in my living room.
That's powerful. And many people, I'm gonna read this comment real quick. My father, Roger Taylor, says, "Esteem others better than yourself." So I guess he was talking about, how I mentioned that you always give other people credit. But yeah, depression. A lot of people don't like to talk about that. I assume you've experienced some of that in your life. Is that what give you, the desire to talk about it and help others overcome it?
Oh yes, I'm gonna be honest with you though. There's not a black man in this country that don't deal with depression. So I ain't the only one. And let's keep it real.
Yeah.
We've been dealing with a lot of drama. We deal with it not just from different other races, but we deal with it even in our homes. So that's something I used to ask God why, but I don't do that anymore because I kind of got a better understanding. But yeah, depression is something I dealt with and I still deal with today. I have many days that I can find myself where all I got is God to turn to help me to maintain, to keep my focus.
Mhm. And you got 3 segments that come on. I think Motivational Mondays, um, and now you switch. I think with the talk with the sisters on Wednesdays, and I see your date nights on Friday, and I
Yeah,
definitely
so it's motivation Monday. Let's talk about it Wednesday, and then it's date night with Lady Z and Sir Rod. Lady Z is my wife, and I am AKA Sir Rod.
okay, and I do want to give a shout out to Lady Z, and the whole People to People family. I had the pleasure to come on the podcast back in October of last year, and I just see the family structure that y'all have and the love that y'all show to so many people. So I definitely want to commend you on that. And where did implementing the date night come in at?
Well, believe it or not, man, this is my third time being. I don't know how to put it, but this is my third time, my third marriage, but my first marriage. Now, I don't mean this disrespect to my first two wives, whom I was married to, who gave me children. Much love and respect to them. But this is the first time as a man that I have started to do my part and try to do it 100%. So a lot of people would take it as I'm trying to downplay my first two marriages. No, I'm not. That's not it. They both I was in love with at one time. They both was beautiful to me. They both gave me children. So I'm not going to say anything, even though we separated and there was some trials and tribulations in there. It's it's 3 sides to the story. Their side, my side, and they were really happy. But with the date night, it started with me and Lady Z. And I got to tell you a little story how she got the name Lady Z in a few seconds.
Okay.
But what we decided to do is every now and then I would get an attitude, and I can get mad and stay mad for 3, 4, 5 days and don't say nothing. And she's the type that like to go out and have a good time. So what she would say, come on, we're going to have a date night. And so I think this was a collective idea, but I think that she initiated it where she said, yo, we're going to have date night once a week. And we had to make a commitment that during date night, no matter whether we were mad or not, we had to honor that day. And we picked Friday. So no matter what, even if I was mad with her, I knew that I had to still spend that evening with her, no matter what. And
how does that work though? Say like if you are mad, by the end of the night, are you happy because you had to, go out and have a good time, or do you go on a date and still come back mad?
Yeah, the good thing about it is date night gives you an opportunity to not think about what you was mad about or what the problems was. When you love somebody, a lot of times when you stay mad, it's you being selfish. Mm-hmm. So when you have the opportunity to get into date night, I still got to open the door for her. I still got to, if I'm walking down the street and the dude walking to him look like he getting ready to get out the way, I got to step in front of my queen so he'll know you need to step to the side, whether I'm mad or not. Uh-huh. So it just put us in a position where, we use that as a platform to say, this is going to be somewhat the glue to keep the relationship going. And we have been together going on 15 years, and we've had date night since we've been together.
That's good. That's good. And it's one thing that you said that kind of, stuck out to me when you was like, well, I didn't do my part. Like, it's very rarely that you hear somebody once again step up to the plate and admit, okay, well, no, I wasn't, the 100% man that I needed to be for my spouse. You never, not once dogged, your previous spouses. So, how big is that, as a man to accept, when you are wrong and actually evaluate yourself? How hard is that to really look yourself in the mirror and be like, man, I got to do better?
No, if you want to be classified as a man, now I don't know how a woman look at it, but a real man going to stand up and look in the mirror and he's going to be true to himself. And if I know that I was doing something wrong, then who am I to sit in front of the mirror and lie to myself? I really then should be calling myself a fool and not a man. Mm-hmm. So in the relationships, a lot of times, anytime that I found reason or opportunity to do something out of the ordinary, I did it. Used it as an excuse. But as I developed, I started to realize, don't make excuses. My first wife was my childhood sweetheart, and I had history with her. And so, I can think of a lot of good things that we had shared while we together, and the bad things, they did what they did. In my second marriage, the same thing. But what I was able to do when I got into this third marriage, I found a sense of respect for the word marriage. I found a sense of respect for the word commitment. Now, don't get it wrong. I do not have the perfect marriage. Mm-hmm. I do not. But I do have the perfect love. See, I have perfect love for her.
I like that.
So what I do is every time she make me mad, and I be thinking, you know what, man, she get on my nerves, this and that. But when I see her, I will die for her. Nobody better not mess with her.
Definitely.
So, that is what kind of just bring me back to reality. And I'll be like, yo, get yourself together, because I'm not all the time right.
Mm-hmm. And once again, you are listening to www.awesomeradio.org, 106.9 WBIS-LP on your FM dial. Once again, feel free to call in 252-756-2008. And just a couple of more comments. Felicia Mitchell says, amen. Rachel Pope, good day, family. Hello, brother Grimes. And one of our other faithful listeners, Flossie Lang, says, good evening. Thank you all once again for tuning in. And let's go back to the story. How did she get that name, Lady Z?
So this is funny. So, and I wanted to tell this many times because my second wife nickname for me is Lady, right?
Wait a minute.
Um,
Wait a minute. Her nickname for you is
no,
Lady. Oh, you called her Lady.
yeah,
Okay.
my nickname for my second wife name is Lady. That's what I called her.
Okay.
But what happened doing the podcast and everything, a lot of times, even me, I would just call her Z. Hey Z, where you at, babe? Like that. But also, I always keep one of these close by,
Okay. That's the
which is
Bible.
Bible. And in the process of me doing the podcast, I found myself many times reading scripture, talking about things about God and so forth and so on. And this one lady had got on early on and she said, First Lady, to my wife. She called her the First Lady and said, get the pastor some water. Hey, look, I tried to tell her I'm not no pastor. I say I'm not a pastor nor a preacher. I'm just a motivational speaker.
Uh-huh.
And it was just funny. Just through that process, they always tell me not to say that, but they would start calling, and when they would call in, they'd say, "Could we speak to Lady Z?" And it literally stuck. And so it was this one. She was I wish I could have really remembered this lady because she was one that was very profound in letting me know what I was doing was a good thing when she tried to say that I was a pastor, and I knew I wasn't, but the message that I was giving, God was using me as a tool. And so whenever that lady was on there, my wife Zena was First Lady to her, or she was Lady Z, and it just stuck. And now that's who she is.
Lady Z. Definitely a wonderful lady. And you mentioned you being a pastor or people looking at you as a pastor. Like, I can see that myself, but also people, when I hear the word minister, I always, look at minister, okay, they call a minister a preacher or whatever, but minister actually means to serve. So, and I found that out a while back. So I think that title, minister or pastor, may fit you because you definitely a servant of people. And getting to that, I know probably like a month or two ago, you had a young man up there. I can't recall his name. So if you're listening, brother, don't hold it to me. But he was from California. He did security for some of the stars, and he said that you was kind of influential in raising him and taking time with him as a youth. What capacity did you do that as far as working and mentoring with the youth? And
Actually, that young man name is Dante Cunningham.
Dante
He's
Cunningham.
a
That's
phenomenal,
yes.
young guy who I met through him dating my daughter.
Okay.
And so we became very, very good friends. Even after their relationship ended, I continued to mentor him. And to be honest with you, I'm old enough to be his father, but he started mentoring me too.
Yeah.
We just look out for each other. I am so proud of him because he went on to do so many different things. And through the process of my mentoring to him, I always encouraged him, anything that you can conceive, you can achieve. Don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. And so I continued to encourage him to do that. And then I had a PTP, not just stand for people to people, but it also stands for photo time and production. I
Okay.
used to do showcasing. I had over 20 artists under my company at the time. All of them was not signed to me, but I was managing them, and I was doing the PTP showcase. And I did anywhere from 10 to 15 of them. And I had all these kids would meet with me every Wednesday at this recreation center, and they would perform and work on their skills. And we would pray together. We would talk. We would eat. We developed this bond that was so phenomenal. And then I started going to different schools. I've spoken in almost every school in the DMV almost. maybe not down in Baltimore, a few, but also majority of them in the Virginia and the Washington and Maryland area. And so I mentor to many, many kids. I have at least about 20 certificates upstairs for mentoring in different schools and different programs. But the thing about that, where I wear my badge on that, is every time I see one of them kids doing good, every time I realized that I was an example for them to do the right thing. That's the glory that I get out of that, and I will continue to do that for the rest of my life if I can. And that's pretty much what people to people do. We mentor.
And also another hat that you wore was in the music and entertainment industry, correct?
Yes, sir.
And
yes.
What did you do with that capacity?
Well, I was actually I was the promoter, producer of many things. I did what was called the DMV Best of the Best at the Showplace Arena, 5,863 seats. Only guy to ever do that in the history of the DMV, period. Nobody can say they did that. I did it. I put over 50 unsigned artists on stage. A lot of people called me a fool for doing it. I lost about $40,000 in that project, but I gained a lot of. It was a success to me because I saw a lot of people get on that big stage in that arena and perform like they were superstars. And it wasn't holding on. We didn't even have a good 300-400 people show up, but that's okay. But you can still go on YouTube, and if you Google my name, Rodney Grimes, or you go in there and you put in the DMV Best of the Best, you'll see some things that come up where I had all the record labels there. Dougie Fresh was one of the people on my panel. I went way out. I spent a lot of money to try to give the DMV an opportunity to elevate in the music business. And at the time, I had a daughter that was in the music business. I was her manager at the time. One of my oldest sons, he was in the music business as well. I wasn't his manager, but he did play a factor in some of the things that I took upon myself to do. But yeah, that's what I did. I actually provided the opportunity to mentor to the kids, give them an opportunity to sing, rap, dance, whatever they did. I gave them an outlook to be able to put it on stage, and we did some phenomenal, some really, really nice shows. And I did that for I know it had to been a good 10 years. And I blessed a lot of people, and they blessed me too.
So once again, you was just putting people out there, once again, giving them exposure on their talents. And, once again, not thinking about yourself, because you said you lost $40,000. A lot of people will look at that and with their screw face, I guess, but you look at it and say, okay, I was able to, that I was able to see, some people, actually fulfill some of their desires and dreams by doing that. So once again, it's a testament to you, that spirit of servitude. And once again, one of our listeners says, you must love what you do. Felicia Mitchell says, what a blessing. Sometimes it's just a blessing to be a blessing. Our Father says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And once again, my mother, Aletta Taylor, says, God bless you, sir, for your sacrifice for others. And people don't understand that that's, who Jesus was. He put others before himself. And,
yes.
With that, that's, I guess that's what we're here to do. Would you agree?
Oh, I do. Now, some people may not understand when I say this. I'm just like Jesus. I'm a son. I'm made in God's image, and God is my father. Okay. And I love that when God tells me to do something, I be obedient, because I know I have to learn through the process. Just like now, even people don't even look at this like this, but God had to use Jesus so that we can be able to really be able to comprehend the sacrifice and how we was able to work with him through as we have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? And every time I think about that, when I talk about the Father, who is God, we talk about the Holy Spirit is us with our spiritual connection with God and how we basically communicate with him. And then the Son. Okay, we all say Jesus is Father, is God's Son, but we are God's children too. So when I look at that, I'm not trying to say I'm as powerful as Jesus or nothing like that. I just want to be like him. You know, he's like a big brother. He's like I know that when I do these things, I think about my Father God, the Creator, and I say, you know what? I'm your son. So some people look at me like crazy. You think you Jesus? No, I don't think I'm Jesus. But I want to be like him. I want to live like him. And I want to serve just like he did for God. I want to be a voice and help people find their way to him.
Okay. And just like Jesus, though, even Jesus at one time got tired. I think it was the Garden of Gethsemane when he prayed and asked God to take the cup from me. You know, I don't want to do this if I ain't got to. So with all the things you've done and you know, sometimes things don't go as you think they should. I know we talked a few times about, you know, sometimes you was like, why am I doing this? So what do you say to yourself in those times? You know, when you feel like, is everything that I'm doing worth it? Or, you know, why am I doing this if I'm not getting the results that I want to? What do you say to yourself in those times?
Excuse me. What I say to myself is, first of all, I don't turn to myself. I turn to God. Okay. I pray over it. And I ask God to give me the wisdom to do what is his will. I'm struggling, believe me. I'm struggling like many other people. We are going through a process with this pandemic. Finances are rough. Man, believe me, a lot of people don't even have the clue of where we are and how we are managing. But what keeps me going is this. When I know that I see a person who will walk by me and say, some of them call me PTP. They say, PTP, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. I smile. Or somebody will call me and say, why did you go on yesterday? And I was like, oh, what's up? They said, man, I really needed to hear your voice. We needed a message. So when I feel those times that I just want to really quit, that's when God put in my ear, I got something for you. I got a mission. You don't stop. You keep going. In the end, you will see victory. And the victory is not mine alone, but it'll be all of us that move in that direction and give him praise to him. So that's what I strive on. You know, it's many days, man, you know, I may not even have enough gas going out there. But you know what? Somehow or another, I look and there go $5, or my wife will say, I got a 10 that I've been hiding. And we put it in the gas tank and go keep it moving. And, you know, we do what we do. But it's more so, if I'm going to give credit to anything, it's the Holy Spirit, man. And I don't want people to think I'm some holy roly type dude. Yeah. I just love God. That's it. Yeah. I ain't got no other way to put it. I just thank him for what he do for me. I love how he treats me. I love how he blesses me. And as long as I can get on my knees and give him glory and praise, I can still get up and go to that studio, and I can pull over to help a person who have a flat tire, and I can share the food that I have when somebody else is hungry.
Definitely. And once again, to our radio listening audience, you are listening to WBIS 106.9 FM. This is Awesome Radio with your host, Richard Taylor, with a special guest on the U-Turn Show today, Mr. Rodney Grimes. And you were just speaking of your studio, right? And if anybody, you know, does want to check out the show, could you give the people the times and dates of the different shows on the People to People podcast?
Yes. Okay. We come on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And it's at 7:00. Now, we're in transition to doing quite a few things, and this is we keep having to throw God in there, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because God is real, and so is the devil.
Okay.
In the process of where we are with the podcast, we're moving because we're going to be one of the most powerful podcasts in the United States, if not the world, one day. I just claimed that victory, and that's what I'm pushing for.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, you know, the podcast it gives us a purpose. And so on Monday, which is Motivation Monday, is 7:00, 7 to 8. We come on, and it's all about really trying to motivate people, give somebody a sense of looking forward to something, change a bad habit. You know, you wake up with a voice and a choice. You know, on Let's Talk About It Wednesday, we could talk about anything from somebody being raped, being robbed, being blessed, uh, who driving the man's car. Let's talk about it, because we're going to keep the information real, and it's going to be stuff that people can relate to. And that's still 7 to 8 o'clock. And then we also have date night, which includes my wife. That is an opportunity for me to stay grounded. I publicize my relationship, which also puts me in a position I really better stay grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to let some men see that it's not shameful to open the door to polish her nails if she need me to do it, or you know, to cook the dinner, or whatever the case may be, you know. And then we do specials. So I got some specials come up that we'll do on Saturday or Sunday. If a person call me and they say they can't make it in Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, I will do a special for them. But yes, Monday, Motivation Monday, 7 to 8. Wednesday, Let's Talk About It Wednesday, 7 to 8. Friday, date night with Lady Z and Sir Rod.
Yep. And if anybody, you know, on our radio listening audience or even on our social media audience want to check it out, I advise you to. And just talking about the studio once again, I've had a pleasure to be in there. And from you telling me that you started it, you know, from just doing it on your phone in the house to what you have now, I mean, that's just an extraordinary leap. I mean, cameras, radio equipment, different angles, different sets, microphones. All of that was done with your own dime, right? So you've invested in this.
Yes, I used my hard-earned money, but also I had some different individuals who invested in the podcast. One lady, I'll throw her name around thousands and thousands of times, and that's Miss Katrina McMurray Brown. We call her Prophet Katrina. She was one of the individuals in the early part that prophesied that I would get a studio, committed, and I hope she don't get mad, but she has supported us at least over $1,500. And so when she did that, I made sure that I took the money that she gave and used it toward getting equipment and, you know, to build the podcast that we have, along with other people who have contributed to the podcast as well. I use that to get the equipment. And so, yes, but a lot of the money, it was my own money that I spent, and the some equipment that I'd already had I'm a professional photographer.
Okay.
And plus being in the music business, I had a few things that I already had, and we utilized them and put it together.
Yep. So, and just the mere mention of Tyson's Corner, like Tyson's Corner, you know, has this, you know, from what I understand and you know, from what I've seen, it's an air of prestigiousness, you know, of affluency. And so for you to be in that area, did you ever have second thoughts, even about the building that you're in? You know, I know it's I think it's a banking there. It's a lot of affluent businesses there. Did you ever have any, you know, hesitancy about moving there, or, you know, or what was your motivation for moving there? You know,
no, actually, no, I don't have any reservations about that. I was told by a very wealthy man one time, he said, Rodney, when you go into a room and there could be 100 people in there and they having a meeting, he said probably only 5 of the 100 people are millionaires. And the other 95 are in there with the same intentions you are, trying to get their dream recognize, and they're trying to find out who the millionaire is, so forth and so on. She said, when you go in there, don't feel intimidated. Go in there and handle your business. Me being out there, and before I even go any further, and here I am again, but this is just who I got to do this.
Yeah.
I don't do this by myself. I got a team.
Yeah.
You know, Lady Z, Ehab, we got Christy Love, we got Hanadi, who's my life coach. We got Maya, which the team calling her baby girl.
Okay.
And you know, it's not me by myself. So I want people to know that, you know, I don't take this on like I just go out there and I'm running this thing by myself. No, but no, I'm not intimidated by anybody. I will continue to keep moving forward, and I'm looking for one day this podcast to be just as powerful as the studio down in Atlanta with Tyler Perry.
Okay. And how important is a team though? Because a lot of people want, do think that they can do things by themselves, So how important is it to have a team and help you do things that you may not be able to do, or may not have the expertise, or just not have enough hands to do? And how do you keep everybody on the same page?
Well, first of all, being a military man, I already understand. And even if you watch the Indians, you can have many chiefs. If you ain't got no warriors, you ain't gonna be able to fight the war. You know what I mean? Even the colonels and captains, you can walk around with the bars on all you want, but when them bullets start to fly, you need some soldiers out there to be able to make things happen.
Yeah.
So that's what happens with the team, with People to People. I'm not the. I mean, it's a young lady. Her name is Tiana. She started with us when we was out there, and I'm gonna tell you something. I sent peace and blessing to her. Happy birthday to her too. Just her birthday was, I think, yesterday. She was faithful coming out, man. And many times she don't know that she was the key to the process of us still moving forward. She just recently decided that she had to go into hiatus to do something else. And I'm not mad. I really want to say thank you, because she was a part of that process to help us to keep going. So I just wanted to make sure that people understand, no, I don't get all the credit for that. I'm not intimidated by being in Tyson Corner. They better watch out, because here we are, and we out there to make some noise and to let them know, yo, we are prestige too.
Yes. And we have about 5 minutes on our radio program. If anything that you would like to leave to our listening audience in the form of, motivation, or in the form of, what you expect from People to People in the coming years, in the coming future.
Well, first of all, I would like for everybody that watch this program here to understand that I am my brother's keeper, and so are you. I appreciate what you're doing as well, and we got some work to do. So we talked about that. So this is a networking aspect that you and I going to open doors for people. I appreciate you allowing me to come on to your platform to be able to be in the opposite seat. Normally I'm doing the interviews. But if I could say one thing, don't make it all about you. Don't always think that everything has to be about you. And you have to learn to love yourself in order to love somebody else. Now, that came from RuPaul, okay?
Whoa, wait.
And mad respect.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But I heard him say that. He said, how you going to love somebody if you can't love yourself? Now, so what I would tell all the listeners, learn to love yourself and learn to share that love with others. People to people, power to power, positive thinking people, PTP for life.
Okay. And just a couple of comments again. Christy Love, Rodney Grimes is wonderful. I love being a part of the family. Aletta Taylor says it takes a team, right? Team equals together, everyone accomplishes more. I do agree with that, Miss Mitchell. Flossie Lane, communication, commitment, and cohesive. Okay, all of those things are, good to have as a team. And I definitely want to, once again, thank my special guest, Mr. Rodney Grimes. Once again, I've had a pleasure to know this man for, I think about almost 6 months now. Uh, maybe 6 months. It feels like I known him forever because I've just seen what he does. And he had a networking event. I think it was in December. Like I said, he had everybody from professional football players, authors, musicians, businessmen, entrepreneurs, caterers. Everybody brought something to the table, and you were able to bring all of those people and bring those connections, which I've, still, I have all of those connections, in my phone. So I definitely want to commend you on your vision for bringing people together and also, allowing people to realize that it's not just about you, it's about the overall advancement of people everywhere, of all cultures. I think EHOB is EHOB. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
He's from
he's from Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah, yeah, he's from Egypt and Ethiopia.
Yeah, so pretty much all around the world.
Yes.
You're working with people, and I'm just excited for what you have, in the future. So once again, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank our radio listening audience, and I'm definitely sure this is not the last time that you're going to hear from Sir Rodney. One more thing before you go. Do you want to leave us with one more thing?
I want you to tell. I want y'all to stand by. I got a couple of people that I'm networking with. Remember this, Praise Storm Productions. Y'all gonna be hearing about that. Photo Time and Productions. You're gonna be hearing about that. Just stand by. But if anything, I ask you to keep me in prayer, and to ask everyone to continue to be safe. Work on your body. Work on that temple. Just cleanse it. Get it so that you be putting the right things in it. Stop abusing it and using it.
Thank you so much. Those are words that lives by. The Bible does say the body is a temple, and we all know that we don't get but one. So once again, we're going to thank you. Thank you for listening to once again 106.9 FM. My mother, Letta Taylor, says, keep doing what you're doing, sir. Positive work. And, thank everybody for listening. Miss Mitchell, Miss Lang, Miss McMillan, Mr. Taylor, Mrs. Pope, and everybody who continues to support our awesome radio station, from all of our radio listeners, our Facebook listeners. We definitely thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, this is Awesome Radio, so make sure you go to www.wbisawesomeradio.org and feel free once again to download our apps on Alexa, Apple, Google, and also follow us on Roku TV. We also have a channel, GPAT23. But we're going to be with you next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless y'all.
This ain't your plan for me to die up in these streets. Oh Lord, can you help me?
WLP Awesome Radio.
What are the liability risks of what's called contaminated property? This is a question you'll want to hear the answer to.
The Legal Alert. Here's attorney David Gibbs Jr.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're still live on Facebook. I just ended the radio show. I know you had a long day, so I'm not going to hold you too much longer unless you have some more other things to share.
Well, I almost it's just some people that I just want to say thank you to. That's also been really supportive. Rachel Pope, she's tuning in. That's the Queen Rachel. She also just recently had a birthday as well. Beth Roots, Beth Creations, but also Richard Taylor, you, my brother, Man, I got much love and respect for you, man, and I can't wait for us just to do some other things together. That we're gonna be moving some mountains.
Yes, sir.
And so, I'm excited about that. But if it's anybody that I left out, please don't hold it to my heart because my mind be going. And Richard, you already know when you're in the hot seat, it's a little different, right?
Yeah.
We got to be on it.
Beth Creations, was she at the event? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Beth Creation. I'm telling y'all, that's where you want to get your personal baskets done. She can send them all over the world. If you get in touch, you can look her up on Facebook. You can look her up on. I think you can Google her as well. Also, you want to definitely check out Rachel Pope when she does Who Am I? This is one of the most talented women you're gonna ever want to meet. I want to also throw a shout out to, we got Tracy Clark, she has a gospel program that she do every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, and that's called, babe, why I keep forgetting, help me. Tracy's she's gonna get that, but that's another program that you want to definitely, you go on Facebook. She has a program, man, that's phenomenal. And my mind is just get to going. I got this light shining in my eyes. So it's like, but it is what it is. But yeah, these people, man, they just really some good people, man. It's faith believers. That's it.
Faith believers. Okay.
Faith believers. I don't know how come I keep forgetting that. And that's we talking about, but you want. So I just wanted to do a shout out to some of those people. Thanks to everybody that's been helping. And hey, bro, we got to do what we got to do. Definitely. This is not. It takes a village to raise a family, man. Not just one person.
Definitely. So yeah, we gonna keep in contact, man. Like I said, I know you had a long day, been running around. So Rachel Pope says thank you, Rodney, and also Kenneth Grimes says awesome show. I guess that's a relative. We got to be a relative with the last name.
We got the same last name, but guess what? He could be my brother. I don't care. He could be my uncle. I don't know. But much love to you, Kenneth.
Yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we're gonna do this again. Coming up later on in the year, but you'll definitely be hearing from me soon. I'll probably give you a call tomorrow and chat it up with you.
Peace and blessing to you, man.
Peace and blessings. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Y'all have a great night.